everyone, it's Holly Marie King, and we are back with the Emblem Knights final draft. We're on chapter 15. We're getting closer to the cool part. Anyway, let's get started. Chapter 15, moving up. Time to wake up from your beauty sleep, Princess. Murphy's voice came into Yuri's dreams while she was resting. She groaned and clenched her eyelids together, not sure what was happening. Wakey, wakey. What do you want? Yuri groaned, wiping the sleep from her eyes. It's time to wake up and get ready for the trip. I volunteered to wake you up, Murphy said in a very chipper voice. It made Yuri feel irritated. Daisuke and Ray have almost finished the weapons, and Ray has said that once they are done, we will move on. He threw a shirt and pants on her bed. Alex had these laying around. He said that they should fit you, and they should work better than a dress for traveling. Thanks, Yuri said, covering her face with her blankets and laying back down. Now get out of my room. Murphy took a chair and sat down with his hands in his face expectantly. What are you doing? Yuri yelled, whipping her blankets off. Just making sure you're getting ready, Murphy said with a grin. Get out already, Yuri groaned, covering herself once more. If you fall asleep again, I'll come back with a bucket of water for you, Murphy warned as he closed the door to Yuri's room. Yuri lay there for a few minutes and then took them off, crawling out of her bed. She usually could get up faster than this, but the little bit of work that she had done yesterday left her body weak and tired. She sighed, but decided to check out what Murphy had left for her. Oh no. She looked at the pants and shirt with distaste. They were those of a ballet dancer. The pants were a light blue and stopped at the ankles, and the shirt was a perfect match, but was obviously too short to even cover part of her stomach. You have got to be kidding me. She shrugged her shoulders and swallowed her bite. It sure beats being stuck in a dress, she said as she put the clothing on. She looked at herself in the mirror and bit her lip in concern. This is just wrong, she mumbled to herself. She went to go grab her father's sword, but it just didn't seem to fit with what she was wearing. Ah, Yuri. Alex was the first of the men to look up to see her approaching. It wasn't every day a female had her midriff exposed, but he was used to seeing it since he had been in the town of drunks for over a year. That fits you nicely. Why do you have something so disturbing with you? Yuri asked subconsciously, covering herself up with her hands and father's sword. Alex snorted at her question. I just happened to get one from one of the women at the drunken town, he answered her. She opened her mouth to ask again, but then closed it again when she saw his raised eyebrows. You're disgusting, she said, her cheeks turning red. I'm a man, Alex said, back an amused grin on his face. Yuri rolled her eyes and turned to Ray. She felt even dirtier with wearing someone else's clothes who had been with Alex. I take it that I'm not supposed to be carrying around my father's sword in this outfit. Ray approached her without blinking. Look, this is the best disguise I could come up with in short notice. So I figured if you were dressed the way you are, you won't be suspicious with a concealed weapon. Whoa! Daisuke exclaimed, finding a piece of cloth and hurriedly covering Yuri up. Ray, why are we dressing her up this way? This is what I planned with Alex, Ray explained to Daisuke. I see, Yuri said, pulling the sheet off of her and handing it over to Daisuke with her father's sword. He averted his gaze as he put it on one of the two pack horses they were taking with them. I think it looks better on her than the girl that wore it, Alex said. He ducked as Yuri took a swing at him in frustration. What happens when I need a weapon that can't be so easily concealed? She asked, crossing her arms in frustration. Don't worry, we have extras, John explained, not looking at her at first as he patted a bundle on top of the horse's back. He then looked at Yuri, about to say something, but his eyes grew big and forgot what he was going to say. Whoa. Yuri sighed angrily. What sort of weapon do I get? She asked Ray, ignoring John. Sis, what the heck are you wearing? Joey asked his sister, looking at her. She covered his eyes and turned him from her. And him? Here you go, princess. Murphy handed her a dagger and looked her up and down with a wink. Thanks, Yuri said, looking at him in disgust. Put it somewhere no one would find, Alex said with a wink as well. Pervert, Yuri said with a growl. How do you think I should do that? Alex smirked. Am I allowed to help? Just do it, Yuri grumbled, crossing her arms once more. Alex smiled at her as he grabbed a belt and tied it around her waist, covering a little bit more of her stomach. She watched as he then took out a small bag and tied it to the belt. He put his hand out for her dagger, and she handed it off to him. He put it in the bag and tied it shut, completely concealing the dagger except for the tip of the hilt. There you go, all set. Thanks, Yuri said, eyeing him suspiciously. Whoa, Roy said, his face turning a bright red. What the heck happened to you? I put clothes on, Yuri said, disregarding him. What are you going to do for my brother? She asked Ray. All he needs is his flute. He'll be completely fine, John answered her, patting the boy's shoulder. Won't it be tiring if he uses his ability all the time? Yuri asked, concerned for her brother. Well, if he gets tired, he can always use the thing as a blunt weapon. Don't you agree? Murphy asked her, amused with himself. Those things can be pretty hard. I forgot how funny I made him. Made him more funny. Yuri just stared at him. She didn't even know what to say. Ray cleared his throat. I think it's time that we left, he said to his men. The sooner the better. Calm down, Ray. It's time to run to our deaths, after all, Roy said to his brother. He put his arm around his shoulder and began to march. That's not funny, Roy, Ray said to his brother. Roy laughed, laughing at his brother, which was very different for him since he usually was frowning. Murphy winked at Yuri before he turned and fell in step with the two brothers. He is so strange, Yuri murmured, shaking her head. You get used to it, John said, before he and Joey turned to follow the man. Daisuke sighed, looking at his home longingly. I hope you're here when I get back, he murmured as he took his 2 pack horses and started the journey. He looks sad, Yuri commented. He always wanted a place to live, Alex said to her as the two of them followed the rest of the group in the back. What was your dream? Sleep with as many women as you could? She asked him, crossing her arms yet again. I was just messing with you, Alex assured her. She glared at him. Okay, well, just so you know, I'm not the first of us to sleep with a woman. We all have done it, but I just chose to be honest with you and joke about it. Oh, whatever, Yuri said, done with the subject. They walked in silence for a few minutes as the others traveled in front of them. Yuri looked at the twin brothers. I was like, what? With a look of longing on her face. So, Alex started getting no response from Yuri. By the way... sorry. By the way, you talk about your sister... By the way you talk about your sister, she was quite the person. Sorry. Yuri didn't answer at first. She wasn't sure how she felt about Alex, but he was trying to be friendly, even if he was a pervert. That's because she was the best, she finally said. To him, she would rather talk with her walking partner than to remain silent. I don't know where I would be if it hadn't been for the time that I was with her. Wow, I can't read all of a sudden. Alex frowned, feeling his chest tighten at the words she spoke. Yeah, I know what you mean, he said sadly. Yuri looked at him and glared. How could you possibly even begin to understand? She growled at him. Because, Alex said, looking down the ground. Never mind. He mumbled, looking away. He didn't feel much like opening up to someone he had just met. Because why? Yuri asked, demanding he answer. You can't just say that and then stop talking. Maybe I don't feel like opening up to someone who doesn't even like me, Alex informed her, lashing back. Maybe it would be better between us if I actually knew who you were, Yuri shot back. Fine, Alex snapped. But then he took a deep breath. I had a twin once. Oh, Yuri said, feeling ashamed. What happened? We were lucky to be together for 7 years, Alex murmured. Why only 7 years? Did he go somewhere? Yuri asked curiously. No. She was taken from me because after hiding her identity for a few years, she was found out by one of our comrades, and they gave her up. Alex answered back. Oh, I'm sorry, I had no idea, Yuri said, feeling a little guilty for being so harsh. Just forget about it, Alex said. They walked quietly for a second, and then all of a sudden Alex just walked faster to go catch up to Murphy. Yuri was confused. She didn't understand why he just left so suddenly. What just happened? Yuri asked Daisuke. He doesn't share about himself very often. Daisuke informed her. He especially doesn't like to share about his twin. I think he's just a little embarrassed. How was I supposed to know that? Yuri asked him, feeling irritated. Daisuke sighed. Look, Yuri, I like you as a human being and as a friend, but as far as people go, you aren't the most sensitive, he answered her bluntly. You aren't too willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. Well, Yuri didn't know what to say to what he had just told her. Sorry. I didn't mean to make it sound so harsh. I just wanted to let you know that maybe you come off that way without intending to do so. Daisuke added, trying to clear things up. No, Yuri said, shaking her head. You're right. I guess I didn't really think about it. And then that leads us to chapter 16. Sorry, it's such a small word. I made a decision today. This is my last final draft I'm going to read. So when I'm finally done with the Emblem Knights, final draft. I think I'm not going to read any more of the final drafts because it's kind of becoming a chore for me to read my final drafts. The rough drafts are fun, so I'll still read the rough drafts and make fun of them. And then if anybody wants to read the final drafts, I'll put it in the description below like I always do. I still have to finish my final draft, so we'll see when that happens. But as always, I will put it in the description below where you can get the Emblem Knights if you want. This one will also be on my Wattpad, which will also be in the description below. I have other books that are right on there that are not published, but they are ones that I have written. Eventually, I plan on getting all but a small selection of my stories on there. Those are the ones that you'll have to buy. Sorry. Can't give them all away for free. And I have started reading other people's works, just the first chapter, so that I can help them get their books out there too. Not necessarily, you know, anything. I don't know what I was saying. I was saying words and then they didn't come out the way I wanted to. As usual. But yes, so I think this is going to be my last final draft I'm going to read on here. I will keep reading my rough drafts because I love reading my rough drafts. So, and I like sharing how terrible my writing was before I finished it. So, after this book, if you're interested in the final draft, you'll have to buy it. Sorry. But yeah, if you know anyone who would like me to read their work, to just post it on my channel so that it gives them a little bit of advertisement. So maybe someday people will be interested. I like reading. Reading is fun. But yeah, anyway, if you like this, please leave a like. If you want more of this content, this story is just underway. There's like 30 chapters. We're only like halfway through the book at this point. A little less than half, I think. So if you want more, subscribe. If you hated it, well, you know, this is chapter 16, so I don't know why you stuck with the story this long, or chapter 15. Sorry, I don't even know what chapter I'm on. Congratulations. But yeah, anyway, hopefully I will see you guys next time. Bye.